I've reached the age of 92. I have outlived my wife, my closest friends, and even those I once called my enemies. But the most significant thing I've outlived is that younger version of myself, the one who spent every waking hour obsessing over what the world thought of him. Today, I am standing at the very edge of the final cliff. The bottom is clearly in sight, but before I take that final step, I need to turn back and shout a message to all of you still lost in the noise of the party. You are being deceived by your own minds. You are moving through life under an arrogant and comfortable delusion that your time is infinite. You treat your days as if they are worthless currency, acting as though you have an endless line of credit in the bank of life. I am here to tell you the truth. You are spiritually and temporally bankrupt. Death is the only certainty, yet while you understand this in your head, you do not feel its cold blade against your neck. If you truly felt the shortness of your breath, you would never live the way you do now. Let me speak of a man named Jack. Back in 1968, Jack was my greatest friend. He was sharper, more handsome, and far wealthier than I could ever hope to be. He was a predator in the business world. One evening, while we were toasting to a massive contract he had just secured, he leaned back in his expensive leather chair, exhaled a cloud of cigar smoke, and said, "Frank, give me 5 more years. That is the plan. I will grind for 5 years, hit my target number, and then I am done. Then I will finally take Mary to Italy. I'll pick up a paintbrush. I'll finally start living." Jack had every detail mapped out. But 3 days later, as he stepped out of his office, he clutched his chest and collapsed onto the concrete before he even realized his heart had failed him. He was only 42. He never saw the rolling hills of Italy. He never touched a canvas. As I stood over his casket, I realized the tragedy wasn't that he died. We all face that end. The tragedy was that Jack spent his entire existence in a waiting room, preparing for a future that was never destined to arrive. A week later, I cleared his desk. His calendar was packed for the next 6 months. His inbox was overflowing with urgent demands. But the world didn't pause for a second. His company found a replacement in 2 weeks. His clients couldn't remember his name a year later. Looking at you now, I see Jack's ghost in your eyes. You tell yourselves the same lies, and I'll be happy once I get that promotion. Or, we'll take that trip when the kids are grown. Listen to a 92-year-old man. There is no such thing as later. There is only the immediate now. If you are gambling your present for a guaranteed later, you are playing the most dangerous game in history. And then there is your stuff. Your generation is possessed by the spirit of accumulation. You spend your health to buy things you don't need with money you haven't earned just to impress people you don't even respect. I reside in a single room now. I have a bed, a chair, and a photograph of my wife. I once owned the mansions, the fleet of cars, and a garage full of expensive toys. From the clarity of the endgame, I can tell you, it is all worthless junk. I have attended more funerals than I can count, and I have never seen a moving truck following a hearse. When you breathe your last, your heirs will hire strangers to toss 90% of your treasures into a dumpster. The rest will be sold for pennies at a yard sale. That is the ultimate destiny of your materialism, future trash. Why are you breaking your back to acquire it? Why are you working 60 hours a week, missing your children's lives just to pay for a car that sits rotting in traffic? It is a form of madness you won't recognize until you are sitting where I am, and by then the store is closed for returns. Reflect on my greatest victory. In 1979, I was named Businessman of the Year. It was a grand black-tie banquet. When I walked to the podium and the room erupted in applause, I felt like a god. I thought I had won the game of life. I went home that night clutching a glass trophy, only to find a dark, silent house. My wife, Eleanor, was asleep. My children were asleep. I sat alone at the kitchen table with a glass of scotch, staring at that trophy, and I realized the clapping had already stopped. The people at that dinner didn't love me. They only cared about what I could do for their bottom line. I had neglected the people who actually loved me for months, all to win a piece of molded glass. I missed my son's games and my own anniversaries to close deals that no longer matter. That trophy is in a dusty box in a basement I haven't visited in years. But the memory of the sadness in my wife's eyes when I canceled another dinner, that stays with me. That never leaves. Your career is not your legacy, it is a cold transaction. You are trading the irreplaceable hours of your life to build a kingdom that belongs to someone else. If you died this afternoon, your job opening would be posted before your family could even print the obituary. Do not sacrifice your soul on the altar of a career that is incapable of loving you back. It will not be there to hold your hand when the lights grow dim. So what remains? If the money is an illusion and the stuff is garbage, what is left? Only what you gave away, the love you showed, the time you shared, and the souls you touched. I don't sit here replaying my board meetings. I replay Sunday mornings with Eleanor. I replay the sound of my daughter's laughter when she was a toddler. I replay the small acts of kindness I showed to strangers. That is the only true wealth. Here is my final challenge to you, a strategy with no room for excuses. First, kill your ego. You are so paralyzed by the fear of looking stupid that you never take the leap. You don't start the business, you don't speak your truth. Why? Because you're afraid of the audience. Let me set you free. Nobody is watching. They are too obsessed with their own insecurities to care about yours. You are the protagonist only in your own mind. To the rest of the world, you are just a passerby. Stop letting the imaginary judgment of others dictate your life. Their opinions will rot in the dirt right alongside them. Second, embrace the last time. This is the ultimate wisdom. Every time you perform an action, remind yourself that one day you will do it for the final time. There will be a final time you pick up your child, a final time you kiss your partner, a final time you feel the sun on your face or taste a cup of coffee. You don't know when that day is. It could be decades away, or it could be before sunset. If you live with this awareness, you will never be bored again. You will hold the hug longer. You will actually taste your life. Third, wake up. I am 92. My body is failing and my strength is gone, but you hold the golden ticket. You have health and the fire of youth, yet you are numbing yourself behind a glowing screen. Stop it. Go outside. Feel the air against your skin. Look at the vastness of the sky. Call your parents. Forgive those who hurt you, not because they deserve it, but because you are too close to the end to carry the heavy luggage of hatred. We are all walking toward the same exit. It is the only guarantee we have. But most people never truly live. They simply occupy space. They stay safe. They stay quiet. And then they vanish. Do not be like Jack. Do not wait for a 5-year plan that might not exist. Eat the good food. Take the risk. Say, I love you first. The clock is ticking. Can you hear it? That is the sound of your one and only life running out. Do not let it reach zero while your heart is still full of unspoken words and unlived dreams. I am tired now. You have work to do. Go.